Hey guys, it's Saturn. Sorry again, I know you've probably heard this a lot, but I'm sorry for not making a video in a while. I'm just not doing good. Kind of sick right now, like physically and mentally, so I haven't been feeling up to making a video, but here I am. Since this account is basically about, you know, the LGBT community and people around the world and how it works for us, we decided this week that we were going to do the BuzzFeed privilege quiz to see how privileged we are. And I already took it, but I'm just gonna like review it again. And first time I took it, I made a 30, so I'm not privileged at all. Basically, there is a good amount of questions about like different sexualities and races and ethnicities and religions and even just basic necessities. If we apply to the statement, then you check it off and it'll calculate how many statements that you apply to, and they will generate a number that shows how privileged you are. The highest I've seen is a 78, and that's very privileged, but since I got a 30, I am on the lower end of the spectrum. Like I said, I'm not privileged. I mean, I am privileged in a lot of ways, but certain ways I'm just, you know, life kind of sucks at the moment, but it's alright. First question right off the bat, I am white. No, I am Hispanic as heck, so I get a little bit, I guess, discriminated against sometimes, but what can I say? I'm not gonna read all the questions because there are so many, but I'm just gonna skim over the most, like, apparent questions, I guess, that I'm just like, dang. Another question that I can't click yes to is, I've never been the only person of my race in the room. Living in the South, I am most of the time the only like Hispanic or Colombian person in the room. I'm just filled with a bunch of white people and sometimes like a mix of like white and black people, but not that many Hispanic people, like, ever. A privilege that I can't check off is that I've never been mocked for my accent, because I was born in the United States and I've always spoke English, so I mean, that's something that I don't have to experience discrimination for being told, oh, you're in America, learn English. So that's something I can be thankful for. A question that I can't check off is, I've never been told I'm attractive for my race. I get that not often because, of course, in the South it's all about like skinny white girls, and I'm a thick Hispanic demi boy, so sometimes, like not very often, but I'm just like just doing my own thing, minding my business, and then some greasy white boy's like, hey, you know, you're kind of cute for like a Hispanic girl, and I'm just like, do not talk to me ever, like, goodbye. The next group of questions are all about like sexuality and gender, so it's like, I'm heterosexual, I've never lied about my sexuality, I've never had to come out, I've never doubted my parents' acceptance of my sexuality, I've never been called a fag, never been called a dyke. I haven't had that privilege in my life because, I don't know, I guess I exude gay, so I've been called like a dyke and shit, but it didn't really get to me. I never really like got upset about it because I'm just like, well, that's me. But I was scared for a very long time that my mom wouldn't accept me for my gender and sexuality, but thankfully she did. Another question was, I'm always comfortable with PDA with my partner in public. Now, I've never been in a, I guess, serious relationship where I've even encountered PDA with my significant other in public, but I don't know, I think I would be scared if I were dating a girl, like, just to even, like, kiss her on the cheek in public because of where I live in the South. So, another question that comes up is, I am a man. And I partially agree with that, but I'm not a cis man, so it doesn't really apply to me, and it sucks. I don't have the male privilege, but what can you do? I guess I never will because I'm only a demi-boy, and right now, like, more non-binary genders don't really count in our government, so I'll always be considered a female for now, and I hate that, but I'm not completely male, and I'm not going to transition to become a full male. I'm happy the way I am. I don't identify as a female. More questions come up such as, I feel comfortable as the gender I was born as, I still identify with my gender, I've never tried to change my gender, and of course I do not have those privileges because I have questioned my gender so many times in my life. And then there are more like female orientated ones, but they still apply to me because I'm not a cis male, such as I've never felt unsafe because of my gender, I've never been catcalled, I've never been sexually assaulted or harassed, I've never been raped, which are privileges that are mostly seen that women don't have, but also trans men who aren't out yet can go through this, and that sucks. Then there are more economic questions, such as, I have a salaried job, which of course I don't, but that's because I'm only 17. My family and I have never been below the poverty line. I don't think so, maybe, but I'm still pretty privileged with my middle-class family. I don't have any student loans. Again, I'm not in college yet, but I will be soon, and I will probably have a lot of student loans. And even things that you don't think about, like I've never gone to bed hungry, I've never been homeless, my parents pay my bills, and I don't rely on public transportation. You don't really think about like having your own car as like a really great privilege, but it is. A lot of people don't even own a car, and some of them can't pay for public transportation, so they might as well either walk or take a bike or something like that. More socioeconomic questions, such as, I buy new clothes at least once a month, and that is true, I do buy clothes a lot, but it's bad because I guess I was a spoiled kid for a while because of the way I was brought up, but since my mom and my stepdad have gotten divorced, I still buy a lot of clothes and a lot of things for myself, but we don't actually have the money for it, and I feel bad, but my mom just can't say no to me, and I'm just like, hey, can I buy the shirt? And she's just like, sure, go ahead, kiddo, but on the inside she's like, oh, I could have spent that money for like something for me, and I don't think about that, and I feel bad when I actually do think about it. So it really depends on who you're living with at the time, rather than like how you're living, I guess, if that makes any sense. Some more social questions, like, I went to a private high school, I went to summer camp, I graduated high school, I went to an elite college, I graduated college, and my parents paid for my tuition. Again, I can't really answer those because I'm still a small babe. Just kidding, I'm almost an adult. I'll be an adult in a year, and that's scary, but for right now I can't answer those questions, so I kind of just like clicked yes for them, because technically, since I don't have to spend money on college right now, I'm just like, well, I guess I'll just pretend like I spent the money, but I'm still like okay. But even then, I still got a 30 on this stupid quiz, so I'm not privileged. There's also questions like, I've never had a roommate, I had a car in high school, I've always had cable. I have had a roommate, I have one actually right now, and he's chill. He just pays half the rent, I guess. I don't really know, because I don't deal with rent. My mom does. I don't have a car, and probably not going to get one until after I graduate high school, because again, we don't have money for it. But I have always had cable, and I didn't think of that as a privilege until now. And when you think about it, cable's a lot of money, so that's a thing to be thankful for. They also have questions like, my parents are both heterosexual, my parents are both alive, they're still married, I don't have any physical disabilities, I don't have any social disabilities, I don't have any learning disabilities, and I could check yes for all of those. Well, except for my parents are married, because no. But those are still some really big privileges that people don't take into consideration every day of their life. And when they brush it off, they're just like, I'm not that privileged. I can't buy a Ferrari. And I'm just like, okay, but like, at least your parents are together. At least you don't have a learning disability that has people like making fun of you for when there's nothing you can do about it. It was just the way that you were born. They go on to more questions about mental health, such as, I've never been depressed, I've never considered suicide, I've never had an eating disorder, I've never attempted suicide, I've never taken medication for my mental health, and I currently have depression and bad anxiety, and I think you can tell during this video because my voice is a little shaky, but I really wanted to make this video because it feels so bad that I haven't made one in a while. And currently I do take medicine for my anxiety and depression. I've considered suicide a lot of times. I've attempted, I don't want to talk about it, but yeah, so mental health is a very big thing that people don't take as a privilege. I wish I had great mental health so I didn't have to deal with this every day. It sucks. Medical things such as, I can afford medication when I need it. I've never been told that I'm too skinny or too overweight. I've never felt overweight or too skinny. I've never been shamed for my body type, and I consider myself physically attractive. I guess I can afford medication when I need it because my stepfather is a retired Marine, so we always get free medication. So, I mean, it really depends. Like, my mom gets stressed out when I go to my therapist and they prescribe me more medicine because that medicine doesn't go to the military base, it just goes to Walmart. So we actually have to pay for that, and my mom is just like, dang, we gotta pay. So at least we don't have to pay for all of our medication, but when that comes around, she's a little stressed out. I have been told multiple times that I'm overweight by doctors, by my own stepfather who said that I was obese, and that doesn't make any sense because, I mean, yeah, sure, I'm overweight for my height, but my body type isn't bad. I don't have, like, a bad body. I don't really need to lose weight. I mean, I could, so I could fit my body mass index, who cares? I'm happy the way I am, but only because I forced myself to be, because I know that I'm not fat, because fat isn't a bad thing. Everyone has fat, and if you don't have fat, then you probably need some, and I'm very sorry that you don't have any. I'm so nervous right now. My anxiety's not doing good with me, but gotta focus on this video. But I've noticed that a lot of men in my life have told me that I am too fat, but I'm not. Like, because I'm living a healthy life. Just because I don't go to the gym every day to work off all this fat doesn't mean I'm unhealthy. I eat a lot of good things and I feel good about my body only because I don't feel like I need to change it. But that doesn't mean I like my body. and that confuses people because they're like, oh, well, if you don't like your body, why don't you try to change it? I'm like, that's the thing. I don't want to change my body because I know it's okay. It's a good body. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't need to change it. But I want to, like, not have my body because of the media forcing, you know, teenagers to think that only skinny girls with big tits and a big ass. I'm about to sneeze. I would re-record that, but I don't want to. So I'm just gonna leave that in the video. But anyways, people are like, thin waist, big tits, big ass, that's all you need. That's the only thing, that's the only way you can have a good body. And I've been seeing women in the media like that my entire life. And that's what I thought I needed to be. And I've been conditioned to think that's what I need to be. And I still feel that way, but I know that my body is healthy. So I'm gonna keep it this way. So they have more questions about, like, religion, and such as, I've never been shamed for my religious beliefs. I've never been violently threatened or violently attacked for my religious beliefs. I need to talk slower. But I'm not gonna, because I've already recorded this video. But I, pretty much atheist. I say I'm agnostic a lot of the time because I just don't want to, like, get attacked for it. So that's not a privilege I have. I don't have any reason to believe in anything right now. So I'm just, like, chilling. But people are like, hey, believe in God, and I'm just like, no. Now we get into some more racial things, such as I'm not nervous at airport security lines, and thankfully I'm not, but I have never heard the statement, you have been randomly selected for a secondary passport control, like, thingy. And no, I actually have heard that, and me and my mom had to go into the little room where they interview people, and they're like, huh, so you're Colombian, huh? You got any drugs on you? Not really, it's not like that. But my mom was really pissed that she got randomly selected for that, because she's like, I am a citizen of this country, I don't deserve this. And I'm like, Mom, we just gotta do it. It's because you're obviously Colombian. So we went in, they interviewed her, they had nothing on her obviously because she's a good person, and we got out. But I don't know, I just thought it really sucked. But then I also saw, like, 2 white people there, so I was like, hey, okay, it's not only Hispanic people, but the majority of people there were Hispanic. And the last group of questions are, I've never been cyberbullied or, you know, bullied in real life for any of my identities. I've never questioned any of my identities, and I feel privileged with the identities that I was born with. That's a big fat no for all of them. I've been bullied a lot for just being, you know, queer or Hispanic or atheist, and what can I say? And I don't feel privileged at all, except for being, like, American, like being American born and living in this country. Like, that's great and all, because I can't have people saying, oh, you stupid immigrant, but my mother is an immigrant, so I could be bullied for that, but I don't really tell people about my mother a lot because I just don't talk to many people. So yeah, that's my privilege test. Hope you enjoyed hearing about my stuff. Sorry, I'm so anxious today. I'm just not feeling good. But I love all you guys, and I will see you next Tuesday.